Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by my channel. I have to say, this is probably my most exciting purchase for me so far yet this year. I have it. I have the Oden's Eye and Angelica Nyqvist collab. This is the Hela palette, and of course this is the newest addition to the Legendary Diversa collection, and I am really pumped to get these shadows on my face. I mean, can we just here look at this? You have some limey, grungy greens, we've got some beautiful pops of pink, and some beautiful shimmery duochrome, sparkly, yeah, you know what I'm here for. So if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. But today's video, we are going to be doing a couple looks with this palette. I'm going to be swatching, giving you all my thoughts. I don't want to wait any longer. Let's get into it. All right, before I get to play with all these eyeshadows, I just wanted to give you a little rundown on this palette. So here is the sleeve that the palette comes in. If you are new to my channel, you will know that I'm not usually like a packaging keeper. I don't keep boxes. I don't usually keep sleeves, but this sleeve is just so gorgeous because it is more of the like grayscale version of the palette. And really this represents the goddess Hela very well. So she is the goddess of death in Norse mythology. So really Angelica was talking about like the sort of like death and rebirth, how death brings life, and I think that this is just such a beautiful combo, so I'm definitely keeping this. Now I did also get the gorgeous ribbon that came with the palette. They had so many that they were able to give out if you did purchase, so I'm definitely going to be donning this in a little bit. But again, this one also has the colorful side and the muted side, so I love this. This will definitely be going into my hair. You could throw it on a bag, you could, I mean, use it in a lot of ways. This could actually really make a really cute little like sash belt if you had like a black dress or something. Ugh, so cute. So I'm excited to play with that. Now let's talk details on this palette. So the Hela palette with Oden's Eye is $43.90, and in this one you get 16 shades. Now in the other Legendary Diversa palette, so here I have the Hummingbird palette, you actually get 12 eyeshadows, so you do get 4 more. This is also just a little bit bigger, obviously, because you have more eyeshadow. So I just wanted to give you guys a little peek at that to show you the difference. So it is a little bit bigger, but you have more eyeshadow. So I have to say, I have very quickly fallen in love with the Oden's Eye formula. I have the Hummingbird palette and also the Giant Wolf palette from Legendary Diversa, and I am obsessed with both of them. I also have the Norns palette, which I've only used once. I feel like the formulas in this are, like, I feel like the shimmer formulas are just a little bit creamier, a little bit like more bam, but I love all of them. But I knew after playing with those other 2 palettes, I knew that I was going to want this palette, and then when I saw the color story, I was like, yes, I love a good grungy green moment, and I'm very excited to get these on my face. I know that Angelica had said that she wanted something that leans a little bit more warm, but not like your typical, you know, when most of us think warm palettes, we think oranges, probably like some burgundies, coppers, things like that. But if you do look, you do get more of that like mustardy warm tone. These pinks, even like this pink, this light one, which one is that? Oh, that's Hela. So this leans a little bit more into that warmer pink versus like a very cool toned, almost like violety pink. So I'm very excited to play with these today. Now this palette is out of stock right now, but it is going to be restocked on March 22nd. So I thought that I would still come on, give you guys my first impressions, thoughts. We'll play with a couple looks. I will say, if it's anything like the formulas in the other 2 Legendary Diversa palettes, the quality is going to be unsurpassed. Like I find that this is a brand that is quickly like bumping up the ranks in some of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. So I'm very excited to play. Speaking of playing, let's go ahead and do some swatches, and then we'll do 2 looks. All right, here we have our palette swatches. Now I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. Angelica did a great job of talking about her inspiration for each shade and talking a little bit about it. So I will make sure to have her video linked down below. I always really encourage you, if you're curious about the inspiration behind a palette, watching the creator's video is always the best way. So here we have Rebirth. This is this beautiful like creamy light yellow. Then we have Fluorescence, which is definitely just a beautiful like sunny yellow shimmer. This next one here is Underworld. It's not just lemon, it's kind of lemon lime, you know, it's got that little bit of green to it, beautiful matte. And then we have the shade Decay. I really like that this is almost like a grayed out olive. Like it's sort of that like khaki olive, kind of like, you know, like that sort of like military green, if you will. And then we have the shade Golden Bridge. So that shade is really more of almost like, again, it's a green based gold, I would say, or like a green yellow gold mix. It's super pretty. Then we have Moss, which is this beautiful like pea soup shade. We have the beautiful shimmer Venom, and that is definitely more of that like Kelly green with a little bit of lime to it. And then we have Ouroboros, which is that beautiful, it's a green, but it has like a blue base to it. So I think this is gonna, you know, really give some nice fun contrast. I love this shade. I know it's maybe not exciting for a lot of people, but Wolf is almost like it's like a murky camel, like a mustardy camel. I really like that one. And then we have Hela, which is that beautiful, it's not like a baby pink, but it's also not like super bright. It leans right in the middle. And then this one, that shade Hellfire, is totally gonna be one that I grabbed for a lot. I know Angie said that she really wanted like a true like peachy shade, like not too pink, not too golden, not too champagne, and to me that is perfect. And then the last one is Goddess. This is that beautiful like stunning saturated pink. Then we have the shade Double Sided. That is that beautiful multi-chrome. Let's see if I can angle it here. Ah, there we go. So you can kind of see it shifts from almost like a, for me anyway, it's a like pink peach, and then it has that green to it as well. So very, very pretty. I'm also very surprised at how much I like River. That's a beautiful, like shimmery, I believe that this one is maybe considered a duochrome, but it really has that beautiful, it's a little bit more of a sheer base, so I think that this one will be a fun layerable as well. And then we have Soot, which is a plummy brown, I would say, or a brownie plum. I think this is one that you could really easily like blend out to be, you know, a lighter tone, but you could really get some nice deep intensity. And then our last one is the shade Complete. This is that beautiful charcoal with a bunch of shimmer. These are so fun. Oh, and as we're getting into these eye looks, I did buy 2 more of the Alva Cream Lip Stains. So I'm gonna be putting both of these on, I think. I'm hoping that I can come up with eye looks that go with these. In case you haven't tried these, I love them. I have 1 shade already and I snagged 2 more. So anyway, now we're gonna get into a look. So I think I'm going to do something bold for the first one, and then I'm gonna go in and do something that's more like chill. So hopefully if you are like kind of interested in this palette, but you're like, ooh, I just feel a little bit overwhelmed, I can show you like something that's just a little bit softer, but also something that gives you like some bold, fun pop of color. So we're gonna go in and go bold, baby. So, okay, the only thing that I know is I want to do something that's both green and pink. Recently, like looking at some of the looks that I've done a lot of like bold pink in the crease kind of situation. So I think I'm gonna try to avoid that to a point, just because I want to do something a little different than what I've been doing recently. So that's literally all I know. Other than that, we're just gonna have fun and play with these shades. So I'm excited. All right, so I'm taking my B5 from Blend Bunny into that Hella shade, and we're going to just run this through the front. By the way, I did want to say that I am just doing this look over concealer on my eyelids. I have found if this palette is going to be anything like the other Oden's Eye palettes that I have, the shadows are really long wearing and really blend out really nicely. But for my next look, I will go through with a like long wear primer just so we can kind of see how we feel with it over other products. This shade is like building up really, really nicely. Like you could sheer it out quite a bit, but you could also get quite a bit of like saturation out of it. So that's kind of fun to know that you could use this, you know, as like a light transition shade. But right now it looks fairly bright on my face. Like I don't know if the camera's gonna pick that up, but it looks pretty bright. All right, now I'm just gonna take this Luxie mini tapered brush into that shade Underworld. That's that like kind of like lemon lime matte, if you will. Now I'm blending these two together as best I can without trying to make like orange, because that's what's gonna happen here, is we're gonna get this like brownie kind of orange situation going. Okay, I think I'm gonna actually layer moss over the top of that just for a greenier green. A greenier green. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of more what I'm thinking. And I'm gonna just outline the shape that I want with this shade, because I'm gonna go through with that darkest green, Ouroboros. So I'm just kind of like laying this down as my sort of like safety net or my outline, because then I'll go over with Ouroboros over the top. Ooh, or will I? I don't know. I'm really digging this. Okay, we gotta go back into Hela, and then I'm just gonna blend a little bit of that back through here. So now I'm taking a Refer 21 and I'm taking Fluorescence. That's that like more kind of like lemon lime light shade. I think I am going to go ahead and wet my brush here. I don't find that I get a lot of fallout with these shades, but I'm going to just do that for like more impact. Now I'm finding that these shimmers, compared to the ones in the other two palettes that I have from Legendary Diversa, they aren't as like smushy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how some of them can be kind of like smushy, like almost like a ColourPop Super Shock shadow. That's what I got from a couple of the shades in those other palettes, and I'm not getting that from this yet. So I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I just feel like this is a little bit different. Okay, I'm liking that a lot. I am so tempted to just like deepen right here with the Goddess shade, but I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna hold off. I'm just like, don't turn this into a pink crease look, Kelly. Don't do it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this small shader brush into that Goddess shade, and I'm gonna lay this down on the outer like third. Okay, so now on the other side of the brush, I've taken River and I've just wet my brush with some Fix Plus, and I'm just gonna like take this shade and pat that over the top. And I'm kind of like pulling some of that onto the green shade just so we get a little bit of a blend. I did get a little bit of color down here, but I don't even think that was fallout. I think that was me getting the brush from the Fluorescence shade and just putting it on the bottom. So now I'm gonna take a tiny, tiny brush. Come on, tiny, tiny. Okay, now I'm just going through with the B2 brush and I'm gonna dip into that Ouroboros shade. And then I'm gonna like build up a little outer corner action here. Okay, at the risk of making this murky, I'm a little nervous, but I feel like we need just a little bit of Goddess right here. And I just took like a Sigma pencil brush and just put like the tiniest amount there. And then I'm going back through with the Blend Bunny brush that I used for Hela. I feel like the camera is not picking it up near as bright as what it is in person, which is kind of a bummer, but this is really fun. All right, I am going to go clean this up and then we will do something on the lash line. I haven't decided what yet. Quick cleanup, we're good to go. I think I am going to do a matte inner corner. I think I'm gonna take that Rebirth shade and that's gonna be what we pop right here. I don't know, I think that there's just so much like shimmer going on the lid that I think that this could just do with a little bright pop like that. Yeah, we like this. All right, now I think I'm going to go in with, oh, let's go through with Goddess, why not? And then we'll follow up on the outer corner with Ouroboros. By the way, for all three of those colors, I was using a Spectrum A21. Forgot to tell you. Okay, I really like this. So now I'm gonna go ahead and probably pop a little lower waterline liner in, do some mascara. I'll be right back. All right, here we are. Of course I had to pop on the ribbon. It just goes so well with this look. I couldn't help myself. I think that this is such a fun look. It is very bright, but still I don't know, to me it's wearable. To me anything is wearable, whatever. But I managed to pop on a lot of color into this one, and everything blended out so, so beautifully. That is one thing that I will say is I find that the Oden's Eye mattes blend really beautifully. Everything just works out so well. Everything is such high quality. So now we have to decide which lip shade to do. So I'm just gonna swatch out the 3 shades that I have, the one that I previously had, and the 2 new ones, and we can decide. Well, I'm gonna decide. I wish you could help me decide, but that's not how this works. Ooh, okay, I got a little bit excited with this last one. So the swatches aren't exactly the greatest. So the first shade that I had was Little Jasmine, and that's this top shade right here. Then the shade that is the second one there, which I think I'm probably gonna do with this look, is Lady Camellias. So that is, it's like a nudie rose, and then the bottom shade is the shade Sweet Tulip, and that is like this like bricky orange shade. These are all so pretty, but I think it's gonna be the center one for this pinky look that we have going on. I'm gonna do it really, really thin just so that it isn't too dark with this like bold eye look. But I love these because they have such beautiful color. They're nice and shiny. They do leave a little bit of color as they wear off, but they don't like make my lips feel crunchy and dry. So I'm gonna pop a little bit of this on. All right, so here is Lady Camellias on the lips. I did just take a little bit of Wayne Goss's sepia pencil after I put on the lip cream just around the edges, just to like crisp up the line a little bit. I like this color a lot. I don't know that I would wear this color, like this depth of color, with such a bright, bold eye look. I'll probably end up like blotting it off when I take some pictures, but I just wanted to show you because I love this. I love this eye look. I love the lip cream, so I just wanted to show you the shades that I have in their true form, but I'll definitely take it down a notch for pictures. I just feel like when I have a bold look and a dark lip, I just feel not me, you know? So I want to be me, but I really do like this. You'll have to let me know what you think. And now we're going to get into our second look, our little bit softer side of this palette, and I can't wait. All right, lovelies, same day, different look. Here we go. Again, this is going to be on the other side of the spectrum. We're gonna do something a little soft, but still fun, and you know, obviously have a pop of color in here. I'm very excited for this. I just thought I would do both ends of the spectrum in case you were looking at this palette and you thought maybe you'd like to play with it, but you aren't aware of like wham makeup. I think this could still be a palette for you. So we're gonna play with that. I did go through and just did something a little bit like bronzier, a little bit springier. I wanted a warm cheek to go with that Sweet Tulip shade. And by the way, I will have all of the makeup details from both of these looks linked down below. I'm wearing completely different things both times, but I have to say I loved that look earlier today so much. I wore it to yoga class. We went to yoga tonight and I was like, yeah, I am not washing my face off because I really love this makeup. So I left it on. I am also still wearing what I wore to yoga. So if you guys see the sports bra underneath my shirt, just pretend like it's not here, but I just did not want to change. It's actually like 9 o'clock at night and I just want to get a fun look on. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so I'm trying to use most of the colors in this palette. I don't think I'm gonna get to use all of them, but I am trying to use most of them. We are going to have to use this wolf shade though. This is that like mustardy camel color that I was so excited to see in here. I think that this is just like so, so pretty. Oh, and by the way, I know that I said that I was gonna use an eye primer this time. I did go ahead and throw on some of the Urban Decay Eden primer. So that one we have on right now so that we can see how this works with both the concealer and also with an eye primer. And by the way, I'm using my Lara Faye E13. I do love these eye brushes. Yeah, I will definitely say I feel like the textures from these shimmers are different from the ones in the other palettes. They just don't have that squishy feel. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being weird, but if you have this palette, let me know, please, because I feel like there is a bit of a difference here. So I'm taking my brush into Hellfire. That's that peachy shade that I said that I knew that I was going to use a lot. And we're going to pop this on like the inner... let's do like... Actually, let's go out 2/3 of the way. I really like this shade. As I'm laying this down, there is actually something about this shimmer that is making me think of the Nomad Cosmetics shimmers, like where, I don't know, it's just something about the texture of these that's what I'm getting a reminder of. Okay, is it just me or does this shade look more like champagne golden on my eyes and more peach here. I think so. It's very pretty. It's just not quite as peachy as what's in here. I like it. It's like there's a little bit of that peach shift, but it's to me, it's more like champagne and gold. And I would say it's the warmth coming through from that wolf shade, but even like below on my lid where I got nothing, it's still warmer. It's very pretty. Now we're gonna go through with Golden Bridge. We're gonna take this shade just on that outer third. Okay, that's really pretty. And I'm gonna just go back through with Hellfire and tap that like right over the seam there, just to blend these two together. And I want this to be, again, like a little bit softer look, even though we've got some bold colors. I mean, obviously this is like a very like limey green shade. I think that if you are afraid of colors, the best thing you can do, I mean, obviously you can do like a little pop on the lower lash line, which we might do a little bit of, but I think that's just such like it's like a one-trick pony. It's what everybody does with bold color. But I think another way that you can wear bold color, if you're a little bit afraid of that, is to wear bold color in a soft application. So, you know, blurred out on the outer corner or even in the crease, like just a little bit more blown out rather than like a cut crease or like graphic liner or something. Like, you know, just wear a bold color but in a softer way. So just a wash of color. So I feel like having this little bit in the outer corner here just kind of like gives that nice little pop. And then I'm just using, by the way, a dry A502. This is the Angie Hot and Flashy set from BK Beauty. And I'm just using that to soften where those shimmer shades meet the matte. Okay, now I think I'm going to take a little bit of Moss. This is that color that I was describing as like pea soup. I'm just taking it on this Angie Hot and Flashy brush, and I'm just running that in the outer corner. All right, lovely, lovely, lovely. So, okay, so now I'm going to take the shade Venom. That is that like Kelly green shade, and we're gonna run that along the lower lash line. And I'm just doing this on a dry brush because I don't want it to get like too foiled and metallic for this look. I want it to just still have some bright pop, but not, I don't know, be a little bit more diffused. So that means I have to pat it on and then very gently blend it out because I'm using a dry brush, so that means that there could be more fallout. Okay, this is super pretty. So I'm thinking about doing a little bit of liner. My first thought was to use Decay. This is that like kind of like grungy, I think I called it like military green, but I think what I'm gonna do is actually go through with Soot. So I'm just gonna run that really close to the lash line. I think it's going to be a good contrast with these other colors, and it obviously has the pigmentation to get really dark. So because I just want this to be a very, very fine line, I'm just gonna go through with the Refer 29 brush. This is like the most tiny, tiny little brush. So this brush is really good for tight lining or anytime you're gonna be doing push liner, which really that's pretty close to what we're doing here. And again, just like I did with the green, to avoid any fallout, I'm just taking this and really just tapping it on the lash line. I could go a little more ham if I hadn't done my whole face first, but this way I just don't get all that like dark little flecks of fallout, hopefully. All right, hopefully you can see the difference between this eye and this eye. I'm just looking for like that little bit of definition that's gonna make my lashes look a little thicker, and it's not quite black. It has a little something, a little je ne sais quoi. Okay, I decided to just smudge that line out the tiniest bit, just because it really brings out that like aubergine shade that's in there. I really like this. I love this shadow. Now for an inner corner. You had to know that I was going to do it. I have to use double-sided. This is that multi-chrome shade. We have to see what it's like as an inner corner, so we're gonna pop this one on. Okay, there we have it. Obviously you're not going to see the full majesty of this shade, I don't think, with just using it in this way. I mean, you really need like a larger surface to really be able to see the like movement of a multi-chrome, but I like that it just has that little peekaboo. I'm very tempted to like put this over the top. I am very tempted, just because as I'm looking at this shade, this Hellfire, yeah, it's a little textury. And I don't know if that's from the Urban Decay primer. I've never had that happen, but it could be. But I did notice with a couple of these shadows, also Venom, which is the one that I ran down here. When I was swatching them, Venom more so than this one. I don't know why this happened. Maybe I'll try to just use my finger. But anyway, I noticed with Venom especially, it just felt a little grittier. So this right now, I just feel like I can see it. I can see the like sparkle texture, and not necessarily in a good way. I probably should have done this part before I did the push liner. I'm just trying to see if I can like smooth this out a little bit with a little bit of that color on my finger. I don't know, maybe that helped a little bit, but now I feel like I need to take a brush to kind of clean up here, especially now that my nails are so long. Like the whole finger application, it just isn't my favorite way. Can you guys even see a difference? I feel like I see the slightest difference, but it is definitely more of like a glittery finish. It has some texture to it. It's not flaky. It's not a flaky by any means, but it just has a little more texture to it, which is why it reminds me of the Nomad Cosmetics shimmers. It just has a texture to it. The one on the outside, that shade is Golden Bridge. That sparkle is much finer. Like it still has some sparkle to it, but it's much finer. This one looks just like a little bit more chunky. So it's just a textural thing. You might like it, you might not, but I feel like I need to just throw it out there. And maybe it's my application. I will have to play with this one. I'm a little bummed because between the color difference from what I thought it was going to be and the textural difference, I don't know that that shade is going to be as much of one for me to grab and go all the time, but I could be wrong. We could just be having a day of miscommunication together. So now it's time for for some mascara. We're gonna throw on a lip. I'll be right back. All right, mascara is on. I just very quickly went through with some tubing mascara since I know that I'm gonna be washing this off in a couple hours as I go to bed. I obviously just wanted to give you guys the full effect. I really like this look. I think it's like soft grunge because you get that little bit of those murky tones, you get a little bit of funky green, but it's diffused enough to where it's not like in your face. I did actually, it's so funny because in the last look I said I was gonna put something into my waterline and I didn't. But this time I didn't say that I was gonna do that, I did. I just went through with a nude in my waterline. I was gonna go through with like a bright yellow or a bright green, but the whole point of this was to be a little bit on the softer side, so I just went through with a nude to kind of keep it nice and bright. Now, speaking of bright, we're gonna go ahead and pop on this lip color. Again, this is Sweet Tulip. I can't wait to see it. Oh, and by the way, when I was editing footage, I realized when I did my lips the last time, they were totally uneven. I have uneven lips anyway, but I just like really went ham on this side. So like I look like this in all of the pictures. It's ridiculous. No. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. My thing came broken. It just broke off. Crap. Well, obviously I'm gonna reach out to them. Can I get any more out of here with just this? I'm gonna try it. Okay, well, that's gonna be as good as we get, folks. I don't know what to tell you. It just broke off. At least it landed right next to the palette. Can you imagine? I would have been miffed if I had gotten like lip stain all over this beautiful work of art. Okay, so I think all applicator wand mishaps aside, this color was made for this eye look. Like, I think that this just looks beautiful. I'm sure Oden's eye will make it right. But I love this look. I am not one normally to go towards like orangey lips, but ooh, I just knew like with this palette, this just goes. And I know that you don't think so, but like if you take out the two pinks, like it just goes. It just goes. I really like this look. You'll have to let me know, do you have a favorite look? I like them both depending on the mood, but this is definitely like that softer side of grunge and I am here for it. All right, 2 looks from this beautiful palette, and I think that I used every single shade except Complete, which is this dark charcoal shade, which I know that I will definitely get use out of in the future. I really think that that's a nice like shade to be able to have a beautiful like grungy smoky eye with. I'm excited to use that one. I'm really looking forward to doing more looks with this palette. Now, some thoughts. Angelica did an amazing job on this color story. I think it is so fun and honestly really versatile. Obviously, you have to like greens. You probably should like pinks. And you gotta love a little grungy moment. So I would say like that's gonna be pretty obvious. If you're watching this video, it must be something that you enjoy, or else it just wouldn't have been worth you looking into anyway. But I do think that you can get a lot of different looks from this. I was a little bit worried when, you know, looking at a couple of these mattes that could be kind of similar, but really when they're on the eye, they translate to a point where they're all just needed. Like there isn't something in here that I feel like I could be like, nah, this one isn't needed here. This one really looks like this on the eye. So, oh, did I end up using that DK shade? That might be the other shade that I didn't use, which is crazy because like that's totally a me shade, that like grungy military green, but you guys have seen me use shades like that before. So I obviously still have some play potential here in this palette, but I think that it is worth the money. I mean, it's gorgeous, like it's stunning. The whole experience of the palette is beautiful. I think texturally is going to be where you're going to have to decide what you want, because I do think that a couple of the shades in here are more of a glittery formula rather than just like shimmery. So if that's not your jam, you might want to think twice about it, but I do think that they all performed really well. I have to play with that Hellfire shade a little bit more. It did smooth out a little bit more once I used my finger, but you guys know I'm not usually team finger, and I did get a little bit of fallout from that like finger play. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Other than that, like everything worked really beautifully. So it's just something where like, it's a textural thing, you know? And while I keep saying that like, I feel like the shimmers in the other formulas were a little bit different. It's not like I've played with those time and time and time again, but I've done 2 to 3 looks with each of those other palettes with Giant Wolves and Hummingbird. And I just feel like the textures were a little bit different, but I could have not like dipped my fingers into some of those more like glittery textural shades. And it's not a big deal at all. It's just something that I feel like is worth noting. I'm here to tell you about the palette and about my thoughts, and that's just one of those things. But I'm definitely glad I have this. I'm going to be using this baby to get some really great grungy looks, and I'm very excited to have it. Like I said, Oden's Eye is becoming a brand that is on my tippy top list as far as eyeshadow quality goes. I love these lip stains. I don't love so much that this one busted off as I was applying it, but I love this color too. So like I said, I'm sure that they'll make it right, but I do recommend these because this is not the first time that I've used these. I have not had any problems with my little Jasmine one at all. So I think it's just one of those random things that happen sometimes. When you buy a lot of makeup, you're bound to have some whoopsies every now and again, right? All right, so that is going to be it for today, lovelies. I hope you enjoyed. You'll have to let me know in the comments down below. Did you get this one? Are you thinking about getting it in the restock? Again, that is March 22nd. If you are thinking about picking this up in the restock, I'm excited for you. This definitely has my stamp of approval. If you're looking for some other things to get while you're on the site, I definitely recommend these lip stains. I also really enjoyed the blush that I got. I will say, stay away from the Norns highlighter. I think it was a Norns highlighter. It was glitter. It was glitter, glitter. It's so beautiful in the pan, but it's just Glitter City. But everything else I've tried so far, I've really loved. So I can't wait to see what Oden's Eye has in the future. I can't wait to see what Angelica has in the future. She's doing such a great job with these collabs. Okay, and now that is it. That is it, lovelies. Thank you so much. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a like. If you're not already subscribed, I would suggest that you do so. Stick around. We have a lot of fun here, and I will see you really soon.